Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Martin, the Director of Economic Research at Dodge Construction Network, and I'm here today to update you on the July reading of the DMI. Quick reminder here, the Dodge Momentum Index tracks the 3-month moving average of the value of non-residential building projects as they enter their earliest stages of planning. We then take that planning data and index it over time to gauge whether or not the planning pipeline is gaining momentum or decelerating. To weed out the noise of mega projects, we also exclude manufacturing and transportation projects, and we exclude any projects valued over $500 million. So the DMI expanded roughly 7% between June and July. We saw commercial building up 4.1% and institutional building up 13.1%. Now, when we dig into those subsector trends a little bit, you can see here we have commercial planning on the left, both with and without data centers, and on the right we have the institutional portion of the index. So the 4% growth we saw in the commercial portion was solely supported by data centers. Data centers took a bit of a pause last month, but reaccelerated quite strongly in July, and so that's really the driver of growth here. Whereas all the other commercial sectors pulled back over the month. So that would be retail stores, warehouses, hotels, and parking garages all decelerated. On the institutional side, growth was much more broad-based. We saw every institutional sector gaining speed in terms of their planning pipeline this month. Most of the growth was centered around education planning and public building planning as well. So that public building is a smaller portion overall for sure, but had a really strong June and then continued to accelerate in July as well. So all of the data really continues to point towards healthy planning pipeline here. We know that project delays are continuing to slow down the speed at which these projects leave the planning pipeline and eventually break ground, but we should still see that this is supportive of an acceleration in construction spending in 2027. Most of that acceleration should be centered on that institutional side and in data centers, whereas the other commercial sectors are likely to still see positive growth, but perhaps a more muted strength overall. The last point I'll make here too is that owners and developers are certainly building in higher project costs due to mounting inflationary pressures, and so that is driving growth in this DMI as well. So in terms of real growth, right, in constant dollar terms or in square footage terms, we might expect much flatter growth in overall construction activity in 2027. All right, that's all I have for you this month. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.